earlier when I was talking about definite fight of the night, this is fight of the night already. They've already got their bonuses. They're happy.
Break out the red panties. We're rich, baby.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Strikes and Strangles. Today we're going to be going over the EFC 113 card with a little bit of predictions and betting odds. So yeah, let's get into it.
Okay, lekker. So it's 9th of May, obviously at the EFC Institute. Looks like a pretty good card. Some epic fights on the main card. But before we get to that, we're just going to go through the prelims, give you a little bit of insight and our opinion on the guys, and go from there. So, Joel, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, so the very first fight, we have Keenan Hornibrook up against Alistair Kunene. Keenan Hornibrook is currently the favorite, Alistair being the underdog. This is not the first time that they are fighting. They have fought before in amateurs. I've got Alistair Kunene on this one.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. The previous one, Keenan did win. So even on social media, you can see with the call-outs, he seems very confident about this fight. I'm going to put it out there. I think Alistair's fought more recently. Alistair's in better shape. He's more focused. And let's just say, at this point, I'm hoping that Keenan actually makes a fight. He was supposed to fight on my debut as well, but he didn't pass the medicals on the day of the fight. So, unfortunately, yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. He struggles with the weight cuts as well. So let's hope he gets to the fight. I was judging his last fight at GFC, and he won with a rear naked choke, but he was fortunate that the guy didn't have any ground skills. He was getting lit up. So, reason for me taking Alistair is there's a bit of ring rust on Keenan. I think he's going to be way too overconfident in the matchup. And I think Alistair's going to just be a little bit too much for him to handle. So
Alistair's also coming off of that loss where his gas tank went. So I think he's reassessed. He's taken the time to rebuild his gas tank, and I think he's going to come in with a point to prove. So I'm going with Alistair on this one.
Yeah. Okay, and then the next fight we've got Kanzeko versus Ochemi. So that's Patrick versus Cloete. So that's another one of our teammates. To be honest, I'm quite surprised that this one is on the prelims, and that it's not at least the last prelim fight on the bout. That's probably due to Kanzeko's record. But yeah, going into this one, I think Patrick's the heavy favorite, as he should be. I think if Cloete decides to actually fight and doesn't run away from him, which I'm hoping he will, based off his last fight, I'm sure he will. I think Patrick can actually get a finish here.
Okay, yeah, awesome. I'll definitely go with Patrick as well, with him being a teammate, and he's just been doing such outstanding work in the kickboxing realm as well. His MMA game has improved significantly. So yeah, I can't see it going any other way. I think Patrick's going to put on a show and get a finish that's going to hit a couple of highlight reels.
Yeah, 100%. And then on that, after this fight, I think we definitely need to see Patrick on the main card. He's not a prelim fighter. So, in the future, if Ashley Graham, you're watching this, put him on the main card next time. Yeah.
Cool.
Next up.
Moving on, we have British Bullyang up against Given Majuba. British is the favorite, and Given's coming in as the underdog. Yeah, I think British, he's been out for a while. This is his first fight back. I think, is it 3 years that he's been off?
He's been out for quite a while, yeah, definitely. I remember we were talking about this matchup previously, and you had Majuba on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. I think British is going to be too strong for him. Also, training styles. British is training. I think he's opened up his own gym where he's training a bunch of the guys from Durban. So I'm going to go with British all day on this one. I think he gets a finish either late first or mid second round. Probably sub as well.
Yeah, I think. Look, Given's been around for a while. He's got a nice thing going for him. So I'm going to go with Given on this one. I think ring rust is the thing, but I don't see this being like outright one way or the other. I think just edging towards Given.
Okay, cool. And then next up, we've got a flyweight fight with another one of our teammates, Salah Plaikes versus God Knows and Lorvu. Quite interesting. So Salah being off for quite a while as well. I think it's also, it's 2 years. I think his last fight was Magno, if I'm not mistaken. But when you look at the odds, it's pretty crazy on Topology. I think it's like a 97%. Let me just double check that. Yeah, 96% for God knows. Which to me is a little bit shocking. I think this is probably one of your bigger underdogs to bet on. I'm going to go with Salah all day on this.
Yeah, I think I'm also going to go with Salah on this. Salah's last fight was actually Tumelo. I just took a look at that. And it was, geez, how long ago was it? It was in
probably 2 years,
2022. So yeah, about 2 years. And then I just want to check quickly who was God knows his last fight.
So Rudolph, no, or Emerson.
He fought Edson.
Yeah, Edson.
Yeah, he fought Edson and he lost.
It was a finish in the first. It was first or second round.
First round.
First round, yeah.
Yeah.
So
look, I think I'm also going to go with Julia on this.
Yeah. So just from my perspective, so obviously having moved around with Salah, I feel like he's probably going to get a TKO or a sub here. God knows has showed some grit on the ground. He got that finish on Rudolph when he was stuck in a triangle, which was absolutely crazy and lucky. But he does get caught in subs, so I feel like he's can actually get a sub finish here. I think if it stays on the feet, God knows we'll have the reach advantage. But at the lower weights, catching the smaller, quicker fighters is actually very difficult. So yeah, I can see this one going to decision as well. But I think Flykies will get a finish.
Sorry, man. I was just looking who I had on this. So next one, we have Jesse Scaper up against Lucky Mageka.
Yeah.
I've actually got Mageka on this one.
Okay.
Is Mageka, he's the one who fought Alistair.
Correct, yeah.
And then he came and fought
one of those guys
at EFC.
Yeah, he fought one of those.
Edmund Couture.
Yeah,
EFC triple one, round one knockout.
Yeah, finished him at the end of round one.
Yeah, and I think, look, Jesse Scapers was well known. He spent a lot of time in the amateur scene. He's down in Durban now, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct, yeah, he's got a little gym there.
I just think it's also been a while since he's fought. He fought March last year.
And that was a close fight. I think he got the finish via sub, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was a rear naked choke, yeah.
But he did get rocked in that fight. And then remember, Jesse's brother is a pro boxer. So Jesse's hands isn't bad, and then he does have some groundwork. So I actually think this fight is going to be very similar to the Alistair Lucky fight. I think fitness, who's ever the fitter fighter is going to win. Ring rust might play a little bit of a role, but I doubt it. I feel like if Jesse gets caught, he's going to definitely look to grapple, and he is pretty strong. So this one can go either way, and I would not be surprised if Jesse gets a decision win.
Cool. Moving on, we then have
heavyweight fight,
up against Justin Clark. Justin Clark, late replacement.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know Justin Clark at all.
No, I don't know him either. But he's on debut. And on World Sports, Betting, he's quite a favorite. So 1.423. Quite interesting. It's a heavyweight fight, so I don't see it going the distance. I think it's going to be a second round TKO, and I think I've got to stick with the bookies on this one. I'm going to go with Justin.
It's quite difficult to stray away from the bookies, especially if you don't know the other guy. So I'm also going to go on Justin for this as well. Moving on, we then have Edson Makvani up against Jalgelo Moitsela.
Yeah, flyweight bout. It's actually a very good bout. I think they're both have 3 wins currently. Or I think Edson's on 3-0 and KG's 3-1. So yeah, exciting flyweight matchup. This is probably the next title contender matchup as opposed to one later on the card. So yeah, what are your thoughts? And then I'll give you mine.
When I saw this, obviously we know Edson because we used to train with him, and he's been making a bit of waves in the EFC with his submission game. So my first thought was, okay, cool. If this guy that he's fighting has a bit of groundwork, then we can look at it. And then I went back on KG's record, and he seems to have struggled with the guys on the ground. So I can't see this going any other way. I think Edson's going to be able to get it done on the ground. Again, Edson has good striking as well. So it's a very tough call, but I think Edson's going to edge it out on the ground.
100% agree with you. I actually think this fight is a little bit of a mismatch. If you look who KG's fought, he's fought all the guys that are kind of like feeders for the flyweight division. His only loss is to Terence Balelo, but the rest of the guys he's fought have literally zero ground and aren't that good themselves. So I'm going to give it to Edson all day, and it's going to be a first round finish. It's either going to be an armbar or a leg triangle, one of the two. KG's going to come out strong. He's going to pressure Edson quite hard. He likes to get the TKOs against the fence on the ground, but that's going to be a mistake. And then he can't really keep the range with him because Edson's a lot taller and has more reach with him, and that's going to play to his Taekwondo style as well. So I don't see a way that KG wins. It's going to be very difficult. I think Edson gets a bonus on this fight, definitely. Okay. And that it sounds bad, but I mean, when you look at it on paper like this and you see the stats, the wins look quite interesting, but the levels are completely different, unfortunately.
Cool. Moving on, we then have Francis Martin up against Sizwe Mnikathi. When I first looked at this fight, I was like, Mnikathi just in the bag, because I went on to Topology and Francis Martin had a record of 1-0. And I was like, 1-0 up against Mnikathi, got quite a big record. When I say big, it's volume of fight. It's sort of split down the middle. So I thought, okay, cool. There's going to be a big experience difference. I went now onto Francis's Instagram, and it looks like he's actually got 33 fights. And he seems to be coming from a very Muay Thai kickboxer style background, although his last one, if I'm not mistaken, was a triangle choke.
Yeah.
In the first round.
Mm-hmm.
So after seeing that, I swapped. I've got Martin on this one. I see the bookies also have him. 0.36.
Sorry, I actually think this has parts of the night potential. It's going to be a very good fight. There's a fight later on that nobody's going to absolutely beat. That's definitely a really fight of the night. But this one, I actually see it going to decision. And I think it's going to be a very tough fight. I think both guys are very good and very good everywhere. I think Sizwe is going to be the shorter fighter, but that in the past that hasn't stopped him. So this is going to be a really good fight, and I'm going to stick with Martin, and via decision.
Okay,
cool. Then next one we got Kaylee Niedermeyer versus Rebecca Omongi. Look, I don't know either of them. 1-1 and 1-2. I've heard that Kaylee's pretty good, so I think I'm going to stick with her. And it's a women's fight, so I'm going to say decision.
Okay, no, that's interesting. So I see that fight's actually not on World Sports Betting.
Is it?
So I wonder if it's still happening. But when I did take a look, I had Niedermeyer. So let's assume this fight's not happening. If it is happening, we're going with Kaylee, and we're going to move on very quickly then to Sanchez versus Bembe.
Yeah, this is a good fight. This is actually a very good fight.
Sanchez coming off the knockout win of Kati and Bembe coming off of...
The last fight was at UAE Warriors. I think decision loss.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's a decision loss at UAE Warriors. This is going to be a very good fight. I don't see either fighter walking over the other. It's going to be action-packed and fun-filled. So very, very excited for this.
I'd say quite even. So when you look at it on paper, it also looks quite even. But if you know the guys, I think Sanchez has the better skill set. Yeah. But Vince is so tough. So I don't see Rayo getting a finish here. I think if he wins, it's going to be via decision, but he's going to have to incorporate his wrestling. And hopefully he does, because I know he wants to stand and bang, even when he's better than Oaks on the floor. So I think he's trying to be a little bit of an entertainer, but sometimes you just got to fight where you're better than your opponent. So I'm going to stick with Rayo, and I think decision.
Okay, so I've actually got Bembe on this one.
Okay.
And I'll also go with a decision on that. So yeah, I guess is this the first time we're disagreeing on a pick?
No, we disagreed earlier. Okay, so then the next fight is Cole Henning versus Alonu. Alonu's from Nigeria. I think it's his EFC debut, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
it's not.
No, it's not. So he actually fought at the EFC about 9 years ago, and they've been struggling to get him out here with his papers and stuff.
Okay, that's very interesting. Looks like he's got a decent record. And then at the press conference, he looked like he's got a bit of a head on him. So he looks smart. So I'm actually going to go with him, and I'm going to say he gets a finish over Cole. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah, I think just the way he was carrying himself, he seemed very confident. Cole obviously coming off the loss to Humphrey. I think Cole is fantastic, and he's got a dog in him. But I think the EFC is doing a good job in bringing people from higher up in just to elevate the level a bit. And I think this is going to be a good show from him.
Okay, cool. So next up, it's a flyweight bout. In my mind, this is a title contender eliminator fight.
They did actually mention that today at the press conference. It is.
Oh, is it? Okay. So you got Tumelo Manyamala versus Micky Cloete. So Tumelo's coming off his first loss at UAE Warriors. And then Micky's coming off a win against Jasby at the last EFC. So both guys are kind of fresh. Tumelo's a lot younger. Micky's a little bit older. But Micky's riding the wave of a win streak. So I actually think this is going to be a closer fight than most people think. I think everyone's got Tumelo. But Micky's no slouch. You definitely put up a fight. I still see Tumelo winning. Either late TKO or decision. Unless Micky clips him. What do you think?
Okay, so I actually, when I looked at this, also a very exciting fight, and I think it's a lot closer than people think it's going to be. I actually have Cloete on this one.
Okay.
He's got that dog in him, and he doesn't give up. And it's very hard to beat someone who doesn't give up. He's going to keep coming back. If Tumelo does win, it's going to have to be a nasty TKO. Otherwise, it's going to go decision. And I think Cloete's going to edge it out if it goes that way.
Yeah, look, so it is actually a very good fight. When you look at the fighters, Tumelo's stand-up is very good and his jits is very good. And then I'd say Micky is actually the more all-rounder fighter. I think he's got decent stand-up, he's got decent jits, but he's also got wrestling. And if you watch Tumelo's last fight, he actually struggled with the wrestling. So his jits is good, but he struggles with the wrestling. So Micky's watched that. And the game plan is to keep Tumelo on his back and keep him flat, do a little bit of work, and hopefully Tumelo makes a mistake and gets subbed, or takes too much damage and gets TKO'd. I think there is a path to victory for Micky. Just Tumelo's very, very aggressive on the feet. So
yeah, look, I like to go with the guy that's got the dog in him, and I've seen that in Micky in a few of his fights. So I'm going to go with Micky on this one. Okay, moving on, we've got Faeez Jacobs up against Sylvester Chipfumbu. This is the second time that they're meeting. This is a number one title eliminator. I'm going to go straight up. I've got Chipfumbu on this one.
Okay, I've got Faeez actually on this one. And then earlier when I was talking about definite fight of the night, this is fight of the night already. They've already got their bonuses. They're happy. I think it's going to be very exciting on feet. I think I'm going to give Sylvester the advantage on the grappling. So, path to victory for Jacobs is to keep it standing, use his elbows, and use his boxing. Whereas Sylvester, I feel like he's going to have to. He's probably going to look to clip Faeez and then get him on the ground and look for finish that way.
Look, last time I saw Sylvester fight, it was up against was it Sandile?
Yeah.
And I thought Sandile was going to get it done, but Sylvester literally just showed levels in that fight, and I was like, okay, cool. No, I'm a fan. And yeah, I think he's got Faeez's number before, so I think it's very difficult to come back from a loss, especially if it's a couple of years later. Sylvester's done very well. He trains with a very good team. So I think definitely from my side, Sylvester. But then again, at the same time, I watched their press conference today, and he's also got that dog in him where he doesn't give up. So it's tough to count him out. I think you've hit it with this being fight of the night. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then for the final fight of the night, it's the EFC Vacant Welterweight Championship. So it looks like Mark's had to vacate. So hopefully that's good news at a later stage. Or in a month or so, we'll start to hear what's going on with him. But it's between Zaakir, Badat, and Jailson Sousa. So good fight. Both are grapplers. To be honest, I think this is going to be a boring fight, especially if it does go 5 rounds, which it can very well go 5 rounds, because both guys are going to look to grapple, mostly. And they both are very, very, very good on the ground. I'm going to give Badat the advantage on the feet and the advantage in strength. So I'm going to say he gets it done either by a late TKO or decision. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've got Badat. I think Badat's got the experience. He's got a few more fights than Jailson. Badat also in the interviews and the EFC Engage that I watched, he seemed to be a little bit more, I guess, camera friendly, and you get to see the space that his mind is at right now. And I think his mind's in the right space. So yeah, I've got him. He was training up here with Boyd Allen. And where else did I see him in?
He's just come back from the States. So he did a little bit of training in the States. So yeah.
But yeah, look, I'll go with Zaakir.
Yeah, if you're a grappler, you're going to love this fight. It's going to be very technical. But if you're a normal casual MMA fan, you're going to be bored on this one. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things. Okay, cool. So guys, that's our take on EFC 113. If you guys can, watch the prelims on their website, and then obviously the main card will be on SuperSport at 7 o'clock. If you are going to be at the PI during the event, come say hi, and enjoy the card.
Cool. Sweet. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.